Well, hello, everyone. I am Dr. J. Hitson with GoodDoctors.Health, and today I am here with Maria Morgan. Maria, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate having you. As we're kind of jumping into, to our Real People, Real Results series that I'm doing, I would really love for everybody just to know more about who you are, what you're doing, and just some of your story, because it's an amazing one.
Well, I am just really blessed to be here today, Dr. Hitson. I appreciate you taking the time to have me on your show. I am an author and a speaker, award-winning author of a children's series called Louie the Lawnmower, and that teaches some character concepts, some character, just things about character in the children. And also, I have a women's Bible study that's called Outrageously Fruitful. And that's a 10-week study through the fruit of the Spirit. So I've done those two so far. It's a total of 4 books. So I'm currently in the process of writing a 5th book that's on the topic of overcoming the pitfalls of anxiety and depression. And that's going to be published by Hope Books. And I'm very hopeful that it will be out before the end of the year. If not, it'll be the first quarter of 2025. But that story is about a 2.5-year journey of mine, a mental health journey that led through psychosis, but it ended in a tremendous breakthrough. And that was God's healing. And I can't thank him enough for that. But it doesn't just recount my story. I also will be going into some detail about my husband, Steve, who was faithfully by my side through that whole journey. And then also fasting, praying friends. They were very selfless in their just support of me and their love for me in that. So ultimately, I look at it as what the enemy meant for evil, God meant for good. And it has really made me passionate, Dr. J, about sharing what I've learned through that process to help others overcome the stumbling blocks of anxiety and depression, so that they can also experience joy, freedom, and purpose in who God created them to be. So I have developed a free PDF that I'd like to offer anyone who's interested. That's called 7 Keys to Overcoming the Pitfalls of Anxiety and Depression. And you could just scan the QR code that will be available with the video. And I'd love to get that to you, whoever is interested.
Oh, that's amazing. I'll make sure that it gets included in all of the attachments.
Okay.
Because I mean, that is what we're about, is not only just we're working together as a team, because we really are designed to be in community, and every single piece, we all have our different pieces to offer. You and I have been talking about anxiety, and we've had a lot of great discussions about that. And I know, you're working on it from one angle. I've been working on it from more the physical angle. And so I know we got introduced, especially with regards to the blood work. What prompted you to want to get your blood work done?
That's a good question. After graduating from college with a degree in corporate wellness and a minor in nutrition, I had set up physical fitness programs and done smoke cessation workshops, and also some nutrition information on specifically geared toward weight management. But, just knowing the importance of physical health and nutrition, it really threw me for a loop when I had those mental health challenges. And that totally got me off track. And I found myself in a place at the end of, I want to say 2023, well, probably mid 2023, where I had lost about 20 pounds, which had a huge impact physically. And I wasn't sleeping well at the time. And when the Lord healed me in September of 2023, I knew that I needed help. I really needed to start paying attention to that physical piece again. So I saw a YouTube video that Annette Reader had posted, and it really caught my attention because it was something about the silent killer. And at the time I was thinking, oh, this is going to be about heart disease. And little did I know it was actually about fatty liver. And I had been diagnosed with fatty liver several years ago. So that was something where I thought, I'm going to pay attention here. And it was interesting to hear you say that that can be totally reversed with supplementation. So I thought, I'm going to go ahead and do the exploratory panel because it really made sense to me. And it seemed to be a great starting point for where I was physically.
No, what were some of your aha? What were some of the things that came out of your panel that you weren't expecting? Or
Yes, it was the first time I think that I actually had a good picture of where I was physically. Because a lot of times you go into the doctor and you go in with a specific issue. So they're looking to treat that specific issue, not maybe getting to the root of it, but looking at what symptoms it's causing and giving you something to help that particular symptom. So it was nice to have an overall picture, knowing that I did have the fatty liver, I had high cholesterol, I was pre-diabetic, dehydrated, low levels of vitamin B12 and D3. So I had a lot of stuff going on because of poor choices that I had made during that anxiety, depression, psychotic state. So, it was really aha moment all the way through the, I forget, 63 or so line items that the blood panel deep dives into. So it was great to be able to see these are your areas that we need to watch. And just being able to see what was recommended to get me beyond that. I loved the fact that it was realistic. This wasn't something where, here, take these supplements for 2 days and you're going to feel 100% better. You were very upfront and clear that it was a 90-day process. We would go ahead and do the reevaluation, another blood panel, and see where we were and adjust from there. So those were all aha moments. The biggest one, I think, that I was shocked at was the dehydration, because I was a big water drinker, but my cells didn't know what to do with that because I didn't have the right adrenal supplement to move it into the cells. So that's been huge.
And one of the things that for a lot of people, you look healthy on the outside. I mean, anybody who looks at you would say she's good. She's fine. She's healthy. And I'm sure by a lot of standards, you could quantify yourself as healthy. But that's what I do love about getting to the biochemical level, because, appearances can be deceiving. And we don't want to wait until it's showing on the outside. That's when we get to the point where it's showing on the outside, it's pretty bad on the inside. So I love being able to help people way before all of that, and way before they even are having all of these, those massive symptoms associated with it. And you definitely fit into that category of, things were going things are going the wrong direction, but let's take care of it before you really start to suffer. And especially, I love working with people like you, because you have such a calling and such a passion, and you are trying to help so many people. And it's hard to do that without the energy and the stamina and all the things it takes to write books and to lead studies and just lead other people through such a journey. So I am just, as we're kind of going through, what are some of the impacts that you've seen in your life? And as you're I know you've talked to other people about, getting healthy on not just the mental side and not just the soul side, but then on the physical side, what advice do you have for people?
Wow. That's a very good question. I would say that my life has been improved. One thing that I can think of specifically, and this has been, wow, Dr. J, probably my whole life from when I was young. My mom would tell you that I needed a lot of sleep. And the other thing that she would always say is she was born tired. And I have to tell you that with the supplements, just within, I think, probably 2 months, I started feeling energetic like I have never felt before. I could make it through the whole day without feeling that afternoon slump, or, and that I'm attributing that to thyroid issues, which is something that I did, was having issues with. So it's just been such a relief to know that things are going in the right direction, and we do have to address all of those areas. Just in talking to you a little bit before we started the interview process, I talked to you a little bit about how, I believe that God created us as body, soul, and spirit. So all of those things intertwine. It's not like you can address one without the other. And so often, my ministry being more spiritual, on the spiritual side, I would tend to look at things only through that lens, not realizing the impact of the physical on that, and vice versa. So it has been just a confirmation that God did create us that way. And obviously, what he made is good. So it's been a joy to see those things working together, and just having that background in corporate wellness and, the nutrition. I knew the information, and I knew that I felt better when I exercised, etc. But again, now looking at the mental component with anxiety and depression, and realizing, you need to keep thinking on truth, not allowing lies to take root. It's just been a fascinating journey.
Oh, that's wonderful. And it is amazing when you are battling with anxiety and depression. I mean, in itself, that's exhausting. And you need the energy reserves. And one of the things that I have found in my work is that while there is absolutely a mental health component, if the physiology is struggling, it's really hard to get the mental side. Again, because there's not enough energy. You're exhausted, because dealing with the mental side is exhausting. I mean, read a very technical book for 5 minutes. You get exhausted because you're using up so much of that cognitive energy. So that's one of the things that I have really loved as we've gone through and seen so many people being able to escalate their healing by addressing the whole person, not just one.
Dr. J, one of the things that, again, I know you and I have spoken a little bit about, but with hormonal changes, especially for females, and I've got a lot of, people that I deal with that are in the same category, same age range, that are dealing with those hormones. And if you don't know what's going on, it can be a scary place, which in addition, it compounds the problem mentally, because you think, you don't feel right. What's going on with me? Is something wrong? And that feeds into the anxiety, and it just gets to be a runaway train.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what's been wonderful, is stopping that spiral that starts to happen. And again, when we keep chasing symptoms so much, you really can get lost very quickly, because one symptom can actually come from 5 different root causes. And some of them scary, some of them not. And being able to narrow down, okay, I have fatigue, but the fatigue is coming from it's coming from here, not this very, very scary place over here, or wherever it's coming from. We just need to know, so we can go at it the right way. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are also getting so confused on the internet nowadays. You're putting your symptoms into Dr. Google, and you're getting all of this information, but not all of it's true for you.
Exactly. And it can be an information overload that leads you, again, if you have a tendency to be an anxious person, can lead you down the wrong path. So again, just a plug for truth. And it's something that I want to commend you and your team for, just having the wisdom to know what supplements to recommend. It was so frustrating trying to take that into my hands and figure out, well, I feel this way, so maybe I need this. Or like you said, reading an article where the majority of women in this age group are deficient in this area and thinking, oh, well, maybe I need to take that, but not knowing for sure. So that made a huge difference, just knowing exactly what it was that I needed. So.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Well, Maria, thank you so much. Again, for those of you who have been listening and just want to follow some of Maria's work more or dive in, because it is absolutely fantastic what she's done, and I love that she is working with children. Because there's so much of that development that starts young, and that's just such a profound calling in itself. So I'll make sure that, her PDFs and access to the work that she does is all included in the description. And Maria, thank you just so very much for coming and sharing and just being the light you are.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. J. I really appreciate all that you do. And it's been such a pleasure working with you. Thank you.
Thank you.